friends, this is the Bijou Baker. I'm Maria. Today I'm gonna ice a German chocolate cake. Now, I will break down how to make it, and I'll break down everything you need to know about a German chocolate cake. My sister asked me for one, so I'm making her one. And now I'm just gonna ice it. Up here, there's a video on how to make the chocolate ganache that I'm gonna use to put it on the sides. Later on, I'll show you how to make the German chocolate icing, which is crack in a pot. The stuff is so good. I'm not even a huge German chocolate fan, and I can just eat the icing. It is so creamy and rich and decadent and amazing, and it's a perfect pair for this cake. Now, like I said, I'm really not a German chocolate fan because I've always had dry cakes. They've always been dry to me. So I worked and worked and worked to make a German chocolate cake, a true German chocolate cake that was moist. So what's the difference, you ask? I tell you, you do ask the best questions. German chocolate cake is actually, strange enough, it is a chocolate created by Samuel German. And what he did was he took a bitter dark chocolate and made it sweet. That's it. There's a lighter hue to it. So and even when you look at it, it looks like it's a dry cake because it's just so much lighter. You have the devil's food cake that I make, and that's a rich, deep chocolate cake. So, but like I said, I've always just put the icing on my devil's food chocolate cake. So you do whatever is going to make you happiest, okay? All right, so there really is no rhyme or reason in the way that I'm going to do anything, other than just to show you a different way to ice a cake. And it's really kind of neat because when you're making your own cakes and you're icing them, you're going to ice them the way you want to. If you want to ice the whole thing in the icing and only put fudge in the middle, knock it out. If you only want to do this or do that and add this and add, it doesn't matter. But for the basic structures on cake building, I know it sounds very tough. It's not. I'm going to show you a few things. Now, when we start getting into the cakes, and when you start seeing the recipes, I'm going to tell you to prepare your pan, and that's, it'll say to put, oh God, I don't remember the wording I use, but you'll use a parchment paper to line your pan. I don't do anything to the sides. I don't grease or flour the sides. I don't put any butter on the parchment paper. I put parchment paper, and that's it. The trick is letting the cake cool completely, 100% in the pan. So if you can touch it like this, it's cool. What's going to happen is as your cake, remember I was telling you how the cake starts to, it gets really big in the oven, and then as it starts to cool off and it starts to chill out, it just kind of sinks a little bit. That's what's going to happen, and then it pulls away from the side. So there's no need to ice, or there's no need to grease the sides or flour the sides. And my goodness, I think last time I greased and floured a pan was, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I did it because I was told to do it, but you don't have to. If you want to, go ahead, but you don't need to. So, and let me show you what happens, and it really shrinks up quite a bit. So you see that gap? That's pretty good. Okay, now that means, I have to hold this, it'll come out very easily. Okay, it's also very gummy, so that's all right. Now, another thing I want to tell you about cakes is that your bottom is always your top. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your cake board, center it as best you can, and then just flip it over. And now your bottom of the pan is the top of the cake. Now, if it's not centered, you still have time. Okay. I kind of just take my finger to give me an idea of how much of my, if I measure it here and it's my knuckle, if it's all basically going around my knuckle, that's a little bit of a gap, which means that the other side should be short. So if I don't want that, I'm just going to nudge it over. Okay? That's the magic of this. And because we used a parchment paper, that's the top of your cake, or in this case, this is the second layer. Now, in another video, I'll show you how to even cut this further down to give you more layers in your cake. But for this particular cake, I want the richness of the German chocolate icing to match the consistency, the depth of the cake. So there'll be a lot of icing. I want a lot of cake. Sometimes I'll make a fruit layer cake, and it'll be one of these cakes cut in half, and I'll only use 3 layers, and then it'll just, everything will be so nice and easy and nice and consistent and level and pretty when it's cut. So for this is all we're gonna do. Now, here's the thing I want to show you. When you're using your turntable, okay, you always want to get something, I don't know how well you can see this, okay? This is just kind of like a drawer liner, a little foam, and so it grips really well. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to go old school. I like decorating it right on here, and then I'll transfer it on there. Okay, so now I have everything nice and even here. This is my German chocolate icing. And this is enough just for the 2 layers. I wish you can smell that. It's creamy, it's got a good caramel color and flavor, a lot of pecans, a lot of coconut, and like I said, I'll show you exactly how to do this, but this is what I'm going to put in here. Now, I want a generous amount, but I need to make sure that there's not so much in between that the top can't make contact. So, and here, when it gets too close to the edge, I'm going to bring it into the center. Now, when I'm spreading it, what I'm actually doing is, let me see if I can show you this way. I'm taking always hold your spatula at this angle, okay? Never like this. This is not going to do anything but lift up cake onto here. So this is how you're going to hold your spatula, at about a 45-degree angle. And then you're going to take it to the edge and then bring it back. And that's basically this. That's basically what you'll be doing. In the middle, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Okay, now when you're starting out, you might want to take a toothpick and stick it on one end. That'll remind you where the front and the back is, and you always want the back to be the least attractive side. At this stage, it's not going to really matter because it's all just cake. But when you start icing, and then especially when you start decorating, you'll want to mark your front and your back. Okay, so now I've got my second layer I'm going to add. And believe it or not, yeah, you will start to just flip these things around like they're nothing. Okay, so one more on top. And I'm not taking it over the edge, just to the edge. This caramel in here, I'm telling you, even without the nuts and coconut, it makes such a good, delicious treat for over your ice cream, or will work on cream puffs and stuff. That's a good place. So I'm gonna close this and seal this because I don't want air in the food. I don't want air in. Okay, so that's it. Simple enough. I need to clear up a little room. Okay, this is the chocolate ganache that I made, and I had it sitting in the refrigerator for a couple of hours, so it's thick but not too thick to work around, and it's not too runny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my icing bag. All right. Again, remember, when we're using our icing bags, we're going to put this stuff over our hand, keep our hands clean, okay? And then we have access to use this like a little tool. Yeah, let me do one more. All right, now, you know, you've seen videos where they take a spatula and they pull up a clump, and then they just keep doing it on the sides, and you can do that if that's what you're more comfortable with. That's just a lot of this action that I don't want. So I'll put it in my icer, okay? Twist the edge so that I don't have to work so hard. I'm gonna go ahead and smooth out this side just to 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then just everywhere in between. And this is also a way to portion out your sizes. Don't you hate when that happens? And I'll do one in the center. And that's it. I'll transfer this onto my cake board that I just got icing on. But I'll show you how to do it. And there really is no trick, I promise you. I've just been doing it for a while. So I'm going to take my wider spatula, go underneath, and I'm going to kind of just make sure that it separates from the plate and the cake. And I'm going to slide it over. It's centered. Now what I did here on this last part is I pushed down against the board and pulled out. I didn't just pull it out, okay? Because if I just pulled it out, I'd be taking a huge chunk of cake with me. But I had it here, I pulled it, pushed it down, you can't see here, but on the board, it can bend, and then I'm pulling it down, and I have a clean edge. And there you go. It's a German chocolate cake. Kind of looks pretty good, right? Well, let's find out. Let's just dig in. Now, the reason I kind of want to show you this particular reason, all right, one of the reasons I want to show you this cut into this cake is I want you to see the color. Let me see if I can. It's light. It's really light in color compared to like I said, compared to the devil's chocolate cake, but it's moist and it's rich, and you can see the layers are fairly uniform, and that icing, that caramel, just kind of course I'm going to taste it. Look at it. Don't share this with your friends. It's terrible. I better just keep it here. Okay, that's it. Okay, that was really good. I had to shut off so I can finish eating that bite because it was a lot. I do want to say hi to my young baking friends, Ellie, Ashlyn, and Brody. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys are enjoying this as much as I enjoy knowing that you're here. Until next time, my friends, have a great day. Happy baking.
Ah, that was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe.